Hello and welcome to this edition of Quality of Life, the show where we look at different aspects of quality of life. Today we're going to talk about family reunification. And joining us today is Heidi Goodmanson from the Sheboygan County Interfaith Organization. Welcome, Heidi.
Thank you.
To start out with family reunification, breaking it down a little bit more, there's the family unit itself, troubles that goes through, hunger, and what's the other component we were going to discuss?
Homelessness.
Homelessness, thank you. That one kind of slipped my mind, so there we have it. You're the executive director of the Sheboygan County Interfaith Organization, or SCIO as a short. How long have you been in that role?
Just since the middle of June here.
Okay.
And prior to that, I was as a case manager through Lutheran Social Services here in Sheboygan. And I worked with the 18 to 21-year-old population of homeless young people. And so I spent 5 years working with a grant there.
Mm-hmm. In Sheboygan County, with the homelessness audience situation we have, has it grown since our economic, boomer that we had, and now as things are starting to recover, do you see that going down?
Oh, I definitely think that 2008 had played a major role in homelessness. Just the vastness of the issues. We've always had generational poverty. There'll always be generational poverty, but situational poverty definitely has increased since 2008. I think we still continue to see that. Families who have been able to sustain up until now, but are still sustaining at a lower income level than what they were, are continuing to struggle, kind of making it, on the day-to-day. And a lot of families are one paycheck away from being homeless. And so just the stress of the economics definitely plays a role in homelessness and our issues surrounding homelessness. I
think most of the families in Sheboygan County live paycheck to paycheck these days, when you think about it.
Yeah, well, that we have over 50% of the population of students are eligible for free and reduced lunches. And that's, you can be a family of 4 and make about $50,000. That gets you into that bracket. And, that's a large percentage of our population here.
Okay, let's talk about SCIO. How long has it been in existence? What's it made of? Who contributes to it, and what's its mission?
Yeah, Sheboygan County Interfaith Organization was established in 1989. It was a collaboration between faith communities, and really their goal was to put aside their differences and to work towards what their values are. And they initially really were about the farmers market, allowing farmers to be able to share their produce with local people. And they grew into being a seed program where faith communities would come to the table and share an idea, and then we would be what bridged the gap between those community needs and partner resources. And that's how many of our programs came about. So actually the farmers market here in Sheboygan, we coordinate that, and it's our 25th year. Wow. It was established in 1989, so that's a huge accomplishment for this community, and definitely has taken off since I've been here. The last 10 years has just grown completely, so that's a testament to the people of Sheboygan for sure. Sure.
What are the programs, right now, the active programs that SCIO has in place?
Yeah, we have the farmers market, and we coordinate the farmers market at the Fountain Park in the summer, and at First Congregational Church on Bluff in the winter in Sheboygan. And then we also coordinate a farmers market in Plymouth at the Generations Building on Thursdays. We have a supervised visitation program, and that program we are third-party documenters. So if families, for whatever reason, one of the non-custodial parent or sibling or whoever it may be can come and take some time, 1.5 to 2 hours with their family members, and we provide a safe environment and make sure that there's documentation of what is happening. So that happens for various reasons, but that's a free program. really important for family reunification. And then we have Bridgeway. Bridgeway is a transitional living program for homeless women with children. And that is, we have a building on 13th and Geely that we have the capability to have up to 6 families. And it's a 13-bed program. So depending on how many children we have at each particular time, depends on how many moms we have, but we have the capabilities of having 6 families, but max of 13 beds occupied. Okay. And then we have a sister program to that called Trisha's House, and that's a single family home that residents who graduate from the Bridgeway program can move into Trisha's House. So those are our programs that we currently have.
Okay, they sound exciting and like to do a lot of good
Yeah.
in the community as far as that goes. Let's focus on the Bridgeway
Sure.
program first. So their moms are in trouble or they need to put their lives back together for however their lives got derailed. We won't go into those issues as well, but basically they need help and they come to you. How do they get introduced to the Bridgeway program?
Yeah, we get referrals from a lot of different areas. A lot of social workers refer to the Bridgeway program, Safe Harbor, Salvation Army, and word of mouth just goes a long way. People who live in that community, definitely know the resources of what may help, and or people who have stayed at Bridgeway House before and are like heard a story of someone's like, maybe you should try the Bridgeway House. And what's unique about Bridgeway is that it's a long-term program, so mothers and their children can stay with us for up to 2 years, which is a really long time, just to be able to become established. For example, one of the moms at our program right now has shared that she has not lived somewhere more than a year in her entire adult life. And so being able to have a little bit of time to get established and set some goals and have some accountability can be really important.
With the program, what are the skills that the moms learn? Or I guess, what's their orientation or what's the progression plan?
Yeah, each mom who comes into our program, we do an individualized case plan with them, which is really just goal setting. We sit down and talk about what are some of your goals, what are some of the barriers in order to become self-sufficient. So some of those barriers might be debt, past debt from child support or municipal tickets,
Sure.
Evictions, all of that. So a lot of the moms that come have some past debt. Also, potential for AODA issues, mental health concerns, not being able to find sustainable work, maybe not having the job skills or the experience behind that. So learning how to write a resume, how to communicate to people in a meaningful way so that you can represent yourself well. So we start at those core basics, and every mom who comes into our program also takes groups in parenting, meal planning, communication, and I'm blanking now, but and budget financial literacy. Sure. So those are every week we have those programming so that any mom who comes into our program is utilizing those skills, and we're modeling that all the time. We also encourage all of the moms to go attend counseling at an outside resource so that they can have some other supports in their life. So we refer to Safe Harbor groups and to individual counselors, would be depending on their needs.
With the moms in the Bridgeway facility or the house that you had mentioned, is it their responsibility to work together to take care of the house and actually put the practices that they are learning, into use at the house itself on a smaller scale to prepare them for the next step?
Yeah, definitely. We have a communal environment, and a communal environment is definitely challenging. But our moms do a communal meal at 5:30 every day, and they trade off depending on how many moms are in the house. They're responsible for making that meal for the entire house. So we sit down and share a meal together and practice talking about our days and modeling that. they are also completely responsible for cleaning the entire building. So they manage the yard care, they manage all of the cooking, cleaning, bathrooms, keeping their rooms clean, and that's a part of our programming is learning those skills and really having some structure. And these things have to be done. Some things have to be done daily, some things have to be done weekly, and so that's definitely part of their participation in our program.
And in the facility, the kids are there as well, with the moms living together and interacting with each other as well, building their social skills as well.
Yeah, and moms don't necessarily have to have custody of their kids coming into our program, which is part of how we build family reunification. So maybe a mom hasn't had the stability in order to, her kids are in foster care and she really needs a stable housing unit in order to get those kids back. And maybe a job, maybe there's some other things that she needs. She can come into our program and work on the things that she needs to do in order to get her kids out of foster care as well. So there's a lot of different dynamics of depending on each individual mom's needs and how many beds we have available.
Definitely, that's wonderful. With working with the moms, is it SCIO staff that works with them, or is it coordinated with other outside resources or counselors or whatever? How does that work?
Yeah, it's a coordinated effort. We do a lot of work with our Bridgeway staff, and myself, I case manage currently the moms in the program, but we coordinate with social workers, POs, we coordinate with Safe Harbor and Salvation Army, just depending on their needs, but it's a coordinated effort. Teachers, we're working really strongly with one of the child's schools right now and working on a plan to really help a child. So just depending on the needs of the families, we coordinate and want to work together as a community. What's
been the success ratio of the moms coming in, from they come in and actually going on to the next level? What is the success ratio, been?
I think, that's a really hard question. We come from a world of really number oriented, but I'm going to skip your question.
That's fine.
But I'm going to share with you that every mom who comes to our shelter experiences structure for even a short amount of time. What rules look like, what accountability looks like. She's forced to set goals and work towards goals, and that's really important. So if you're in our program for 3 months or 2 years, you are exposed to those that structure and that accountability. And some moms aren't ready for that, and other moms are extremely successful, and we have tons of success stories of moms who have come into our program, who have gotten a job, who've paid off some debt, who've learned how to budget and gone out, have gotten referrals to counselors, and they really, we want to work on the scope, your whole wellness, and not just the budgeting, not just meal planning, not just structure and parenting, but we want to help you to really learn how to love yourself, learn how to be a good mom, and what does that mean, learn how to create structure. So each mom who comes to our program does learn tools in order to move on.
Sure. So basically the moms will benefit based on the skills they're learning through your program. So they're learning on their social skills, and the kids are learning, to interact with other kids, other children, different ages, different beliefs, backgrounds, which will help them prepare to, insert back into the community and participate.
And give me a year, I'll be able to better give you some numbers.
Yeah. I was basically looking, how they benefit and, the good things that you see.
Yes.
So, is where I was kind of going with it. So with that, I would imagine resources are quite thin, in this day and age. So I'm sure you have to go through some creative accounting to get the tools and the resources you need to support the program.
Yes, definitely. We're supported by the United Way, Sheboygan County United Way. We are supported by foundations, grants, and individual donors, and our faith communities. We're an association of 32 faith communities from all different backgrounds, and they support us through membership and are part of our board structure. And then we have tons of really amazing people like you who do our IT for us pro bono, and just the blessings that we have from this community,
Sure.
and the many people who come together to help with our maintenance, to cooking meals.
Sure.
There's just so many ways that we're blessed by this community, but definitely money is always something that a small nonprofit, a grassroots, we have very small state funding through city block grants, but we don't have any federal funding. So we really are hitting the pavement, and we're supported by a lot of small efforts.
Sure. With that along, you mentioned volunteering, where I do volunteer for the IT work. Can anybody volunteer with any of the programs that SCIO offers, or how does that work if somebody would want to volunteer?
Yeah, we do have some stipulations depending on what you want to volunteer for, just based on if you're interacting with our moms and children, you need to be able to pass a background check, and we would run through sex registry just for the safety of our
Absolutely.
families. But definitely, we would consider anyone to volunteer, and we're really seeking. We have 32 faith communities. Not every faith community has a delegate, which is who we consider our ambassadors.
Sure.
And they are a communication line between Sheboygan County Interfaith and their faith community. And so we're seeking delegates from our community churches. We definitely welcome any other faith communities to get involved with us. We're seeking out board members, specifically a lawyer and anyone who's really passionate about fundraising. We would definitely take, or just is really good at relationship building. We're seeking
Sure.
out some people for our board in that way. We also have a meal sharing program where you can come in and bring a recipe and the food to cook a meal for 20 people, which includes all of the people in our program, some staff, and then the group of people you're bringing in, and share a meal with the moms and our families. And there's plenty of other maintenance, like I said. We always have small projects. There's lots of ways to get involved.
Sure.
We're always seeking donations. What we're seeking at any individual time, changes, but our wish list is on our website, and we always are in need of cleaning supplies, toiletry items, feminine hygiene items, dish soap. I can't even tell you how much dish soap you go through with 13 people in the house. So those are always pantry items. We have a really large freezer, so we can take donations of meats and frozen vegetables and frozen fruits, really to increase the nutrition of the moms. Those are all really awesome ways to get involved as well.
Neat. Neat. Let's jump to the program of supervised visitations. Could you give us some background what that's all about?
Yeah, we contract, or it came as a contract to us through Health and Human Services, and it's really a way for, breakups are pretty messy, and so sometimes it's about two adults who just don't get along together, and their interaction is just unhealthy. And so we can provide a way for, that transportation or that supervision of that transition from one parent to another. So we can do that, or we can actually stay with the non-custodial parent for however long, and that we do really to help bring families together. And so everyone deserves a second chance.
Sure.
So whatever happened in the past, we want to be able to give families the ability to have a second chance to be reunified, but in the safest way possible. And then we're in contact with guardian ad litems, lawyers, social workers, to make sure that, if we see anything that we're communicating, maybe this person needs counseling, maybe they need some parenting classes, maybe they just don't know how to be a parent. And so we can be a third-party documenter and then communicate to the parties at large on how we can better help these families to move forward.
I can see safety as well as having the interactions being healthy, in the spirit of the family, where that takes a special need or care to do that part of it. And I suppose there, not anybody can just volunteer. You have to have a certain background with that, you know, as far as that goes.
That's staff.
Yeah.
Those are staff, just because we do deal with a lot of confidentiality
Sure.
issues and coordination. So that program we don't really
Right.
take volunteers for, but our farmers market, we're seeking an advisory. We're always seeking people to sit on our advisory board for the Sheboygan market, and we're working on a task force really for our Plymouth market to grow that. And there's lots of ways you can get involved with the farmers market or Bridgeway, and we're welcome to ideas of how else people want to get involved with us.
Yeah. With your supervised visits, how many families can you have participating at one time?
Yeah, we can serve up to 20 families
Oh, wow.
in an hour or hour and a half, 2 hour time slots. So depending on how long those visits are and our availability at that time. And that's completely a free service. That's a partnership through United Way, a city block grant, or a county block grant,
Sure.
I'm sorry, and then some foundations chip in to help make that possible.
Sure. Do you see families being receptive to it, of participating in that type of a program?
Yeah, definitely. I think that it's if someone's ready to get their kids back or really are ready to take that on, they'll do anything in order to have that
Sure.
opportunity to be with their kids. So if the lawyer's saying for safety reasons you need to have supervision and you really want to see your kids and be a part of life, and that we can communicate with the powers that be as if it's not.
Well, that's wonderful. Do you see overlap between the Bridgeway and the supervised visiting? Let's say you have a mom with a few kids in the Bridgeway program, and yet the dad is still around and still wants to visit and say, do you see any overlap in those programs?
Oh, definitely. If we have a mom at our program and dad wants to be involved, some people don't need supervision, and that's perfectly fine. But if our moms want to utilize it, or we see it the other way, maybe it's a non-custodial mom
Sure.
whose kids are in foster care or kids are with a family member, and she wants to get her kids back, so she starts at the supervised visitation program, and then if there's an opening in Bridgeway, and she can get on our waiting list, and she can move into Bridgeway in order to have some more structure to get her kids back through that too. So it works both ways, through the supervised visitation to Bridgeway, and then for our dads, because we work with single moms, so it would be a non-custodial dad utilizing our supervised visit if our mom is in our program.
Wonderful. Lastly, we switched to farmers market. I know we've already mentioned something about it already, but in volunteering with SCIO this past year or so, I mean, I've lived in Sheboygan County all my life, and this is the first year I went to the farmers market, so I feel kind of guilty that way as far as that goes. But in working with, just with the staff at SCIO and Judy, who heads up the farmers market,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a kind of a neat thing where it's more than just, vegetables or foods. I mean, there's flowers, there's crafts, there's all kinds of things. So, if you want a really neat experience, it's a place to really go on Wednesday or Saturdays.
Oh, it's really a destination. I think we see a lot of people who go and have their breakfast there on Saturdays, or meet friends there on after work, or at their lunches on Wednesdays. So it's really more about community.
Yep.
And Sheboygan's really in a mentality of we want to eat healthier, we want to eat local, we want to support people, we want to really build community and strengthen our community, and supporting local businesses, supporting local farmers, eating healthier, sitting down at the table. If you buy food from the farmers market, you're probably more likely to prepare a nice meal, which gives you more incentive to sit and eat that meal
Yes.
with your family, which that's an incredibly important time. There's so much research about the importance of food and family, and food goes across cultures, it goes across economic statuses. Food is important in every single, from low income to high income. Food is definitely paramount in all of our cultures.
So of the people participating in the farmers market, the sellers or whatever you want to call it with the stands, do you see them more little like hobby farms and people doing this for fun, that they bring their produce then, or do you see, larger farms or organizations coming there, or what's the mix?
I don't know those statistics quite as specifically as Judy would, but we do have a lot of family farms and a lot of people who are renting actually their plots. And that this is their livelihood,
Sure.
and they go and they not only sell maybe at ours, but also at Appleton or Green Bay,
Yeah.
and so this is part of their summer and part of their livelihood.
And, tying all three together into, what we call our family reunification, think about it, when we grew up, 5 o'clock we ate supper and everybody was at the supper table. So there was family communication right there.
Yeah.
Now, you're off to McDonald's, or you put in the TV dinner if you're lucky anymore, or something like that, and everybody's coming and going, or they're going
Right.
on their little gadgets and stuff. Oh, hi, and they're going back at your little gadgets again, where, the Bridgeway, there you're bringing a sense of family, community together, the visitation, similar thing, and even the farmer's market with the comments you made earlier, you buy your vegetables, your fruit, whatever there, and then you prepare it at home, which can kind of then, you want to make the meal and then have it there, which may bring the family back together
Yeah.
as well. So I can see where all the programs, actually support the family reunification.
Yeah, definitely. And one of our coolest things about our farmers market is we actually accept food share. And so, that's a really cool thing. I don't think many people know. If you go to our Judy, who's our farmers market coordinator, she has a stand on 8th Street, and the farmers market is still there through the end of October, and then we have a winter's market that kicks up in October, the 1st and 3rd Saturday. And you can actually utilize your food share at the farmers market. Many of our vegetable vendors, they'll have a sign up that says we accept food share. So it's another way of, even like low income families
Sure.
to be able to unite around food.
Okay. If somebody wanted to get a hold of SCIO, learn more about it, the programs, maybe want to contribute, volunteer, what's the best way?
Yeah, you can call us at 920-457-7272 and ask for Heidi, or Jody is our administrative assistant, Judy, our farmers market coordinator, or you can visit our website at www.sheboygancountyinterfaith.org. And we'd be happy we do tours, and people are welcome to come and learn more about the Bridgeway program, and we would be happy to do a tour. And you can leave a comment or email me at scio.heidi@gmail.com.
Okay. Do you also have a Facebook page?
We have a Facebook page.
Okay.
Yep, you can connect to us on Facebook, like us, and share. We post a lot of pictures about Facebook or about the farmers market, and we would love it if you hashtag SCIO Farmers Market if you are posting pictures about the farmers market, so we can build community and share how we're supporting our local vendors.
Okay. I feel kind of guilty, you see hashtag and I'm still trying to figure that out, and I work in IT, they come up with hashtag this and all these other things. So Heidi, I'd like to thank you for being on our show and talking about family reunification. It sounds like there's a lot of neat things going on at SCIO.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Definitely. If you have any questions about this episode, you can contact us on our webpage at wscsheboygan.com. For your host for Quality of Life, I'm Dave Augustine, and on behalf of Heidi and SCIO, thank you for watching.